Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those grid life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier?
Right.
You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
So what does the
have,
Sentinel system do?
we could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Racecar and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
From the great halls of their house, there are assembled 3 who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team. Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson, you're here.
It's a great day at Ben Dawson Incorporated's brain. How can I direct your call?
Well, we've had people who wrote in and said, "Hey, I've got a question for Ben Dawson," and you know what we've been saying? We don't have a Ben Dawson right now.
We don't know where that guy went for a minute. But yeah, I am back in. Are you saying that somebody else wrote in and asked a question and we could talk about it?
Indeed.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
So apparently Ben Dawson's caller ID is on the fritz, so he's responding to our calls and texts now. So take advantage of this while you can, people. All right, Ben.
Yes, sir.
We had some people that are drivers and car owners.
Good.
And they're asking, hey, what do I do? What's the best way to deal with either a new car to them or similarly, if they do an arrive and drive, then it's obviously a new car to them.
Right.
On the first few laps, what's the do's and that's a bad idea?
Yeah, I'll tell you right out of the gate, something I do before I ever even move somebody else's car is I will ask them to come sit with me. Like I'll get in the car and I'll ask them to come sit with me and say, what gauge do I need to be watching? What's the normal range for your water temperature? If there's an oil pressure gauge, where should that be while I'm idling around the pits? Because your oil pressure is likely going to be different under load, like under 6,000 RPMs on track versus loping around the pits at 1,500. So I want to know that it's okay if I see the oil pressure pegging around at the bottom of the gauge, like, low pressure while I'm around the pits, but I also want to know, what do you want to see when I'm at peak RPM? Like I said, what water temperature do I need to be looking for? Do I need to run? Is there a fan that I need to turn on if we start getting hot? What you got, Bill?
Yeah. One thing that I'd recommend, if possible, if you're the person with the car, try to set the steady state racing gauges where straight up is good.
Rotate
it. So then you don't need a number. You're just like, if it's straight up, I'm good. If it's left of that, if it's water temperature, cool. If it's way above to the right of that, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm bringing the car in because it's too hot. So try to make
Right.
it
That's a great
idiot
point.
proof because you never know who's the idiot.
That's a great point. And just to recover what Bill's saying is that when you install gauges in your car, you could have them kind of straight up and down with the words, parallel to the floorboard on the gauge, and then the temperature might be correct when it's sitting there at like 10:30 at night, but you want to make it always be sitting up at noon. You just rotate the gauge a little bit so that you see
Yep.
your ideal readings at noon all the way across. So the words on the gauge might be twisted a little bit, but the idea is to rotate the gauge a little bit, then nail it down in your dashboard.
It's function, not pretty.
That's right. So
it's a race car.
exactly. So that sounds like a great idea. Thanks for bringing that up.
No worries. I'm here for my good looks, and I'm failing at that. So I figured I'd help in other ways.
I think you look great. I love those glasses.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think your eyebrows are really popping tonight. I love that red hat. Just to give you some compliments. Rutgers hat. That's awesome.
Rutgers volleyball. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, hell yeah. Rutgers volleyball. Lots of buns jiggling and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, before I drive anybody's car, even for the first few laps, I also am going to ask them, where are you shifting? Are you shifting this thing at 3,000 RPMs, at 9,800 RPMs? Tell me where you like me to shift the car, and I'll stick to that. And if that's another thing to ask. If
you have any 9,800 shift cars, GarageHeroesInTraining at gmail.com. Ben and I will be there very quickly.
That's right. So, but I want to know how the owner treats the car. And I want to make sure that I do that or nicer. You know what I mean? Do you tell me how you want me to treat the car, and that's what I'm going to go out and do? Because that's kind of the contract and the agreement you're making with somebody when you go drive their car. Is I'm going to keep your car safe. I'm going to bring it back for the next person to drive. How do you want me to do that? That's kind of how I approach it. I mean, there's always the safety aspect, and we're going to kind of gloss right past that and assume everybody knows how to do the safety aspect of being on track, but and kind of move on to the.
That's a different dominated also.
But move on to the sort of the car performance aspect and say, all right, how do you want me to treat this car? And once I've got those guidelines from the owner or the person who's operating the vehicle at the track at that time, it may not be the person that owns it. But once I've got those kind of running guidelines, then I've already got a kind of a clear footprint for what I'm going to do when I go out on the course. And to me, it's reassuring to have these boundaries set before I go out. So I'm not wondering like, okay, how hard do I run this car? I'd shift at this point. Make sure it doesn't get hotter than this. And I've already got some kind of car health boundaries to go from there. Going to inform some of my decision making, right?
Yep. And you should probably make sure you understand what the goals are. Like some people, like when you were at pit race, they were like, send it, make it happen, win the race. And other people are like, do not go past 6,200. Do not let the oil pressure go below here. We're just here to have a good time. And, don't break their junk by doing what you think you want to do.
Well, and I mean, let's be honest too. There will be situations where you might get in the car and they say, hey, we're trying to not break out of this class, or we want to not stand out. We want to not stand out so much with the performance that we think this car may have. So we want to kind of run this lap time range. So you may get in there and part of what you're doing in the first few laps is just trying to find out, how do I run this car to run a 220 around VIR and still kind of have fun and still still make it work. So you might want to pay. They may put you on a pace right away, which has happened to me the last couple of times I've raced our car. It's been like, all right, great, we're trying to run this pace so that we can. In our case, it's about fuel. It's about making fuel last as long as we can. But so in some cases you may be going out to find out how slow to drive. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
It's a weird situation, but that might come up too. But so as soon as I get out in somebody else's car for the first lap, I'm just trying to kind of feel out how it shifts, how it revs, how it rotates, how it brakes. You're just feeling out all the basic functions. The brakes on this thing hit hard. Do they feel numb, but they still slow you down? Are these PFCO8s that feel like nothing's happening, but suddenly you're slow enough to go through the corner? I mean, it's just sort of some individual driver feel things that I like to feel out. Just how does this thing pull? Where does this thing like to be? What is this car good at? What is it maybe not good at? Those are the kind of things I'm thinking about as I get going. But I'm not trying to push a car extremely hard in my first few laps, unless I'm just jumping right into competition. Then in that case, the timeline gets a little bit compressed for
Well, if,
my considerations. This is a different thing, but
yeah, if the
do
team
you know what
wants
I mean?
that, then that's what you do.
Mhm.
If the team
Exactly.
doesn't want that,
Right. I mean, I think you're hitting on a key point. I'm trying to do whatever the team wants to do, and if it's if it's unless I don't know. I'll tell you a weird one that happened to me recently that was way out of place. But my friend Scott brought his late model down. It was a late model that's set up for road course racing, but he had it down at VIR and he had some problems. I was not expecting to drive the car, but he's like, "All right, you've been driving this track for almost 20 years, so you go drive the car around. At least tell me, is there something wrong with the car or something wrong with me?" And it was really weird to get in and drive this big old late model stock car. I had never driven anything like that. And that one, it was like a Jericho transmission with no lift shifting.
oh wow,
And I couldn't see past the corners. I was so low in the car, I couldn't see where the car was or anything like that. And and I said, I was like, I'm just going to take it easy. We'll just see if there's anything basically wrong with the car.
right.
And apparently, like Reed and Scott were watching from the side, and one of them was like, "I thought Ben said he's going to take it easy," and the other one was like, "That is him taking it easy." But
Yeah,
I was way out of place in this car. I couldn't see shit around me. I couldn't see. I'm doing this weird like no lift shift with this transmission. I'm not used to driving a V8. Thing's loud as hell. I stalled it trying to leave the pits the first time. So embarrassing. But anyway, yeah. For the most part, I think if you're driving something that's sort of like what you're used to, like I had
right.
no frame of reference for a big ass stock car. I just went out and drove it just to see if something was wrong with it for my friend, but I was way out of place. I was like not in my element. But if you're used to driving small low power cars and you go drive a relative something similar to that in an endurance race, it should be a big adjustment. I'll tell you an example. I've been racing our Miata forever, and we sold it, and then my friend Callan was doing a VIR South race while we were there with our E30. He's like, "Hey, come drive our Miata. We just got it set up. We want your feedback." And I think I drove like a 40 minute stint for him, just trying to tell him how I thought the car was doing. But I jumped into that Miata and I hit the ground running because I know what a Miata does. You know what I mean? I know exactly
Especially
what that
there.
car is. Yeah, and it's a proven quantity. I've been there a million times. So that was an instance where I didn't need any adjustment to that car. The only thing I was going to be surprised by was what it couldn't do. Maybe this thing didn't rev the way I was hoping it would, or something like that. So if anything, it was lower than my expectations. But I didn't have to work my way up into it. If it's a car, it's something that you're used to driving, unless there's something wildly different about it that the owner points out. If you're used to racing E36s and you go race somebody else's E36, it shouldn't be a big deal to kind of get used to somebody else's car. You're trying to. I mean,
Right.
in my mind, I'm trying to get used to this car's particular foibles if it has any, and that sort of thing. But unless you're stepping way out of your comfort zone for a different type of vehicle, I don't think getting used to a new car. Bill froze.
I'm back. Doggy duty.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Not no problem. So we're talking about kind of doing like for like and how it's not a huge adjustment or shouldn't be a huge adjustment unless you're just trying to kind of sort out the little minor things that might be different about the car from what you're used to. What do you think about that?
Well, the only two things I was thinking about that we could add is always approach it from the bottom. It's not your car.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is your car, it might not be what you think it is. So start a little conservative. And if
Yeah.
possible, especially if it's a race weekend, try to do practice.
But yes, that's a great point. If you could, anytime you're able to get in a car that you're not familiar with will make you better for the race or better for the weekend altogether. If it's a
Right.
DE weekend or a race or whatever, take as much time as you're allowed to get in that unfamiliar car. If the ultimate goal is to be able to run well with it by the time it counts.
Yeah. Don't break the car because nobody wants to buy a broken race car.
No, especially if you broke it and then have to buy it.
Exactly. So I'm one of those nobodies. I don't want to buy a broken race car. I've got enough of those. I have to fix them.
And
So
tell you what, when I was racing Hong North, first generation Supra around A&P in the wet, and then I ran through some nice diff sauce and that big sweeper
great.
and slammed into the wall. I was like, oh crap, I just bought a race car. Turns out we fixed it in an hour, got it back out. But at least in the moment, you're like, oh my God, I just bought a race car.
Not every time you get away lucky.
No, yeah, I got if there's anything I can do I do know how to hit a wall. By the time it's coming, I know how to hit one.
Yeah. That may be a future Dominator Dustin. How to hit a wall and not have totaled the car.
Let's not do that.
I don't think-
There's a private video of that on YouTube that nobody will ever see. It was
Nope.
rough.
No. Speaking of private video, the video of you in that what was that, a F body with the people
Oh
parking
yeah.
it?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
That was wild, man. I'm like, what are you people doing?
That was that. So speaking of being in a new car and not driving it, I had a chance to ride with somebody fancy, nice Monte Carlo SS, and they had swapped a 5-speed like T56 or something into. We drove around. This guy's got a great video of it. It's me and him. It's like the last 2 turns of the hour, but we come down into the hog pen. I'm just telling him, I like to go here. I like to go here. I just wanted to ride in this car. He's like, oh, if you're an instructor, you can ride. I was like, I am an instructor. I was just trying to ride this guy's. I was just trying to ride this guy's cool car. We didn't have communicators or anything, but I'm just kind of giving some advice as we go along. And I'm like, wow, we come around, and there's just people parked all the way down into hog pen. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I was like, whoa, stop. The guy drives off to the right in the grass. And I don't know why, but I'm like cheering the guy on the whole time and laughing my ass off. Because once we didn't hit anything, I'm like, oh, that was great.
Yeah. It was
but it was hairy. It was a scary video. But looking back, the glee that I'm displaying the whole time is maybe troubling.
It's not the first thing we've been worried about you, sir.
Good. It was wild, though.
Yeah, you had cars parked in the track. You had cars parked to the left. Remember, it's a right turn. You had cars like parking and spinning off to the left, and then you guys decide, hey, I'm going to go cut some grass on the right-hand side because everybody else is going the other way. I'm like, was there fluid or something?
No, I still have no idea what happened, but it's so funny. The guys who run those events, those Tidewater Sports Car Club events, were great. I'd only done one, but I got to be friends with the guy who does them. This guy Alex Hart. He came to an AER race the year before, maybe that same year, and hung out. So we got to know these folks. But these guys put on serious track days, and one of the big things that they were focused on was like we take pride in having like no incidents on our first sessions. We do 2 caution laps to make sure nobody screws up. And it was the first session when all this happened. And I remember at the time, like, did anybody else see that parking lot? Am I crazy? Did I lose my mind? And I didn't feel like anybody was like trying to suppress what happened, but ultimately it was Alex, the guy that runs these events, who finally sent me the link to that video. He's like, yes, this did happen. Here it is. So it's funny. But yeah, if you're in the area and ever get a chance to do a Tidewater Sports Car Club event, super cool events. Very good. They do autocrosses and track events. One of the few groups still doing like track events, like 3 a year at VIR. So get on that.
Stay on the track, though. That'd be nice.
Yeah, keep your vehicles on the track and definitely don't park them in the middle of a hot track because that's fucked up.
You never know who's coming. It could be an idiot. You know the first rule of quality, Ben? You know this? You know this one? First rule of quality.
Tell me.
It's harder and harder to idiot-proof a process because they're coming out with better and better idiots.
Better and better idiots, yeah. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice you get about throwing your pit signal out, isn't it?
Yep.
Is you never know when that dumbass in the Viper didn't see the flag and he'll come barreling down behind you going 150 expecting you to like not be there. Yeah. So have that pit signal out because there's always that one guy who didn't pick up on the session is over. You don't want him running up your backside.
No, you've got 2 different lines that come out of that person usually. One is I had the line, which whatever. Yep. And the other is I was on my flyer. I'm like, I don't care.
Nobody gives a shit. Park it, Jimbo.
Yeah. Are you going to win the HPDE trophy this weekend?
That's so embarrassing. I'm so happy I've never done that. I can't believe I've never been the guy who's been out there for an extra lap, but it sure could have happened. But somehow I have never done it.
Indeed. Well, Pat,
maybe it's because I noticed the flags, perhaps.
Perhaps Lemons teaches you how to look at things. Perhaps you even look down the track and see cars going, wee.
Lemons has made me a way better racer than I ever would have been without it, for sure.
Yeah, I know. When I went to my comp school the first time, it was the first time, meaning I've gone there more than once, not the first time because I failed. Thank you very much. No writing into GarageHeroesInTraining@gmail.com. The guy's like having a session on, looking at flags and car awareness. I'm like, dude, move on. I got this covered.
Go run one Lemons race and I'll never have to hear about that again.
Yep. You won't survive if you don't. So,
yeah, Lemons is invaluable for making you a better racer, a faster racer, and a safer racer. I mean, anybody who's snoozing on Lemons is fucking up.
I don't know the last time I missed a flag. Now, that's not to say that I didn't get called in. Actually, I might not have, but that's not to say I didn't get called in because somebody said I missed a flag and it wasn't there or it wasn't my
Right.
car. But I just don't miss flags. I mean, the
Yeah.
penalty in lemons is so severe for, you know,
It's so severe for messing up, but also it's so severe for not paying attention because they just when it's time to go,
they don't care.
it's like they made the corner workers somehow just magically disappear the flag. You're looking at the guy holding the yellow flag, then he's just standing there, no flags. Like, where did it go? So you got to be on the ball because that's a huge competitive advantage. I would like to say that I'm a Boy Scout and Lemons taught me to be such a better racer because I want to be safe and because of that. No, it's because I learned to watch for restarts and I murder it right on the restarts.
Can I make a request to all corner workers listening to this, all two of you? Don't wear yellow shirts. Don't wear white shirts, and don't wear black shirts. Don't do that. Or red. Give me something.
Can we get corner workers all a bunch of loud Hawaiian shirts or something?
You know,
I would love that. Like some Tommy Bahama, we'll be popping some different colors that are not yellow or white. Like, oh my God, you're right. You come around and see that shirt, like, oh shit, is that the flag? No.
Why is there flag out every single lap?
I love corner workers. We wouldn't be anywhere without them. But yes, you're right. This choice of bodily decor.
Listen, come to the Garage Heroes in Training. Come to our paddock. I will give you money to go out to Walmart or some other place to get
Bill
a
will
shirt.
give you a shirt. Bill will just give you a shirt.
I will. I'll give you a Garage Heroes in Training shirt. You can
Let's
wear
make
one
some fuchsia. Let's do the next group in fuchsia, and that's just for the corner workers.
Just for the corner workers. Corner workers, let me know.
Hot pink.
I got to order some now. Okay, I'm on it.
And also, I would like a hot pink shirt too if we ever go that route. I look great in pink.
Ben,
any shade of pink.
What don't you look great in, Ben?
That's true. I'm a pretty amazing looking dude.
That's right. Not just a race car driver.
Well, also, I was going to say, did you also know that I can drive the piss out of a race car? That's pretty cool too.
It is. It'd be even cooler if it was our race car that one time, but we'll work on that. We'll see at VIR. It's coming.
That is one of the things that I like to take a little pride in. And every now and then when I'm feeling down, I'm like, hey, guess what? This guy can drive the shit out of a race car. So.
That's right. He's not here just to make me or whatever. Edit. Yes, he is.
Yes, I am. All right. Sorry, Bill. Sorry, Lord.
It's fine. I'm just going to click on the explicit number and just screw it. We're coming out. All right, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. We'll see you for the next one.
No, thank you.
Oh, no. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, sir.